Vomit, yes.
¿Qué más?
Nausea, yes. Fatigue, yes. Bad sleep, yes. No energy, yes. Bird's nest on my hair, yes.
¿Es todo?
It's been great.
Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Sarah, and when I'm not here on YouTube or on my Instagram creating content for you all, I'm typically working with women as a certified holistic nutritionist and online wellness coach. Now, the topic of today's video, as you may or may not have guessed from the title and the intro, is gonna be the first trimester of pregnancy. I am currently in my third trimester when I'm filming this, so a completely different experience, but I wanted to make sure that I had a little recap for my own memory, but also that I shared with you some of the things that definitely helped me survive this very difficult first trimester. I'm also doing this video because I want to make sure that if you are going through a very tough time during your first trimester or your pregnancy, that you don't feel alone. I definitely recall watching a lot of videos on YouTube to try to find not only some help and remedies, but also to just not feel so alone in the experience. So if you're going through this, I feel you. Please know that this too shall pass. And if you're not pregnant yet and this video maybe is scaring you, please know that each pregnancy is experienced completely differently from one woman to the next. Even the same woman is not going to experience the same pregnancy twice. So please don't feel alarmed. You might not experience half of what I went through. I'm just sharing my own experience with you guys in the hopes that it can help you, and that if you're going through it, then it provides you a little bit of solace as you're going through it. So let's dive straight into today's video. All right, so the first thing that I'd like to talk about is some of the symptoms that I went through, and for each symptom I'm gonna give you what helped or what is known to help, because it didn't necessarily always help in my case. So the first symptom, and the one that was the most debilitating, is also the most known, and that is morning sickness / nausea. I don't think it should be called morning sickness because it was more like an all-day thing for me, and I'm not the only one, but I definitely didn't expect it to be so rough. Again, I had heard about morning sickness and I thought maybe I might feel a little bit nauseous the first few hours of the day and then it would subside, but no, it was definitely debilitating in the sense that it would just come on as soon as I got off the bed, and it would stay with me all day until I went to bed. It was very difficult to handle, but here are some of the things that sort of helped, or some of the things that people recommended in those situations. So the first thing that definitely helped for me a little bit was eating, or trying to eat, because you're gonna see one of the other symptoms wasn't making that easy. So eating in small quantities and as often as possible, like so more regularly. So instead of having like maybe 3 meals, have like 5 or 6, but like mini meals, because anyways, if you're going through extreme nausea, chances are you have extreme food aversion as well, so you might not feel very hungry, but you literally eat for survival. And I remember when I was going through the nausea, I did not want to eat at all. Like food was just not something that I wanted, not only because I was nauseous, I don't know, I just wasn't craving anything. So just find some type of food that you can stomach and that you can handle. For me, which was really interesting as a nutritionist and a foodie, instead of having my usual, you know, either smoothies or oatmeals or like fruits and vegetables, I just started being able to only stomach or only handle like all beige foods, very boring foods. So definitely no fruits and veggies. For me, it was more like salty crackers, which a lot of pregnant women go through. So salty crackers, bread, maybe some cheese. And again, talking about cheeses, depending on the country, usually pasteurized cheeses and hard cheeses are accepted by most doctors. But again, the consensus is different from one country to the next. I spoke to my gynecologist. Cheese here in Spain, when it's pasteurized, is completely fine. So cheese, pasta, even frozen pizza or pizza, those were the only things that I literally could stomach, which thinking about those foods right now, I'm like, it's all right, you know, like I'm so happy that I'm through with that. So try to eat small quantities as regularly as possible. Try to stay hydrated, which is another one that can be difficult. So that was another thing that happened to me that I didn't expect. I'm usually drinking a lot of water or lemon water in in the morning. I couldn't stomach lemon water, but one thing that did help was either like sparkling water with or without lemon. It's going to be up to you. With or without ginger, it's going to be up to you, but that can help as well. And if not, because there were some days where even like sparkling water felt disgusting to me, so sodas, believe it or not. And again, as a nutritionist, I definitely didn't feel great about just being able to only drink like Coca-Cola, or I remember sparkling lemonade or Fanta, depending on the day. For some reason, water wasn't doing it, but try your best to sip on a little bit of water or to do sparkling water. And if that doesn't help, another tip that my sister-in-law gave me that helped as well is chewing on ice, which again, any type of food that's very cold kind of helped with the nausea. So just chewing on ice will give you some hydration, and at the same time, like the crunchiness and the coldness of the ice helped. So that's another thing that can help with the nausea. And then the last tip that I have that helped me with regards to the nausea was just sleeping it off. So taking as many naps as possible and just resting as much as possible. Those three things were the things that helped me the most. Eating small meals regularly as much as possible, staying hydrated to the best of your ability, and resting or relaxing. So those were the things that helped me a little bit. Now I'm going to share with you other remedies that a lot of women find helpful. So you definitely have ginger. So anything with ginger, whether it's fresh ginger, powdered ginger, or any kind of like, you know, medication or supplement that contains ginger, I actually still have them. Those were like some of the ginger remedies that I tried to ingest and that I desperately was hoping would help. Did not help, but again, that was for me. It might help for you, so don't hesitate to go and get some ginger supplement of any kind at your local pharmacy or your local health food store. That might help. If not, another thing that people recommended to me that definitely didn't really help is homeopathy. This one is specifically designed to help with nausea. I think it's more like for nausea in, you know, if you have motion sickness more than morning sickness. But again, you might want to give it a shot. It might help. And then another one that a lot of women recommended is those. This is basically like an acupressure type of wristband. So it basically has like a little ball that's supposed to hit one of the pressure points, one on each wrist, that's supposed to help, you know, diminish nausea or if not eliminate it. Even though I don't think it did anything for me, I was wearing this religiously every single day, and it's so funny because I had like the mark of like the acupressure point, and it was a bit uncomfortable at times, to be honest. But again, I was desperately trying to feel better. So I think that if you experience mild nausea, this might be very helpful for you, but for me, once again, didn't really help. But as I said, these are some of the things that might help you, so definitely try them out. And last but not least, I almost forgot, vitamin B6. This is something I heard about quite later on during my all-day sickness journey, if I can say, but I had heard that morning sickness and especially extreme nausea might be due to a deficiency in vitamin B6, so supplementing in vitamin B6 might help you. Again, consult your favorite healthcare practitioner before you try any of these tips. Speak to your doctor. I'm sure they have their own tips, but again, as I said, I'm sharing what I tried that helped and what I tried that didn't necessarily help. So up to you, but I hope these few tips are helpful. Now let's jump to the second symptoms. So the second symptom that was definitely quite uncomfortable, not as debilitating as the all-day sickness / nausea for me, was constipation. It was definitely not something that I expected to experience. I don't think I had heard about it, but then when I did some research, I realized that a lot of women who are pregnant go through constipation at different stages of their pregnancy. For me, it definitely happened during the first trimester, and it was really uncomfortable because not only you feel super bloated from all this backed up, sorry if it's TMI, but all this backed up stool that's not coming out. So it's quite uncomfortable, but the worst is that, you know, the things that you're supposed to do that are helpful, you might not be able to do. So this is what I want to share with you guys. Some of the tips that normally help with constipations are, of course, moving your body as much as possible, whether it's walking, doing some exercise of any kind. It really helps to stimulate peristalsis, which is the automatic movement of your bowels. So movement can help, staying hydrated or eating hydrating food, which again for me were fruits and vegetables, or ingesting a lot of fiber, which again come with mostly from fruits and vegetables. So the fact that I had such a strong food aversion, it didn't make it easy for me. So I couldn't really rely on certain foods that would help because, again, it was really hard to eat. But what I did do that did help was magnesium powder. So again, this is what helped me. Make sure you consult your favorite healthcare practitioner or your doctor first. But what helped me is supplementing with like a little magnesium powder. I'll link the one that I used down below in the description bar, and maybe I'll put a picture here. But basically, like some magnesium powder, a little bit into water, drinking it, you know, I think it was like 3 times a day or 2 times a day. That definitely helped alleviate it. If you experience nausea and you don't have too much food aversion, then I definitely would recommend you drinking a lot more water, you eating a lot of fruits and vegetables and fiber-rich foods. But as you know, in my case, I couldn't do any of those, so magnesium is what really helped me. And now I'd like to talk about the third and final symptom that I experienced during my first trimester that was definitely unexpected and quite debilitating. And for me, it was extreme food and smell aversion. Like extreme. I've never felt like this before. I am someone who loves to eat. I always look forward to food, and as a nutritionist, I also enjoyed cooking. I could not cook for longer than the time that I was nauseous. I think I didn't cook for a good 4 months or something like that, because there was something about smells in the kitchen that just would make me extremely nauseous, or if not, would just make me want to go to the bathroom and puke. So I just couldn't cook. The only foods that I managed to stomach and to handle were like boring beige foods, but I've heard a lot of other women go through that. So I'm sharing this because I don't want you to feel discouraged and I don't want you to be too afraid. I definitely felt a little bit guilty because I was like, oh my God, I have this baby that's growing inside of me and I'm not even like eating right. This is not good, but literally you're doing the best you can. So if you have extreme food aversion or smell aversion, just do the best you can. Figure out what foods you can kind of handle and just stick to those foods. It's best for you to eat something than to eat nothing. And again, some women, I was lucky that I had a lot of nausea, but I didn't have a lot of vomiting. So I think I vomited maybe 5 times or something like that. Again, sorry if it's TMI, but I'm guessing if you're watching this video, you're interested. So I didn't vomit too much. Most of the time when I did manage to eat, I also managed to keep my food down, which was something that was very important. I will mention that if you have like constant vomiting and you're not able to keep the food down, you definitely want to speak to your doctor about that, because that can be definitely dangerous and extremely dehydrating. But I wasn't there. Like I was able to keep my food down. It's just I couldn't do fruits, I couldn't do vegetables, I couldn't do any interesting foods. But yeah, I did the best that I could to survive. That's what I would recommend if you're experiencing like food aversion, extreme food aversion. Just find the type of food that you can handle, even if it's fast food, even if it's not the food that you used to eating. The most important is that you feed yourself and you try to keep the food down. Of course, if you don't have extreme food aversion and you can still do, you know, more nutritious and nutrient dense food, go for it. This is for the woman that, just like me, could not handle it. You're not alone. It will pass. And of course, if you're taking prenatal vitamins, which most women during their pregnancy are recommended to do, then at least you can know that via those prenatal vitamins, your baby is still getting what it needs. But yeah, for me, it was just about waiting it out. And then one day the food aversion started lifting and now I'm back to my regular diet and it feels amazing. So just hang in there if you're going through extreme food aversion. Alright guys, and this concludes today's video. I hope that you found some of these tips helpful. If you're going through a difficult first trimester, please know that, again, it will pass and you're not alone. Feel free to use some of the tips that I shared with you today to see if it helps you at all. If it doesn't, don't despair. It will pass, or you will find something that helps. Another few things that I wanted to share with you is, if you're going through a difficult first trimester and you feel quite guilty because you're feeling not so great, you're feeling even depressed or upset, because it can be really debilitating, don't feel guilty, don't feel bad. It's totally possible to be grateful about being pregnant and this little miracle that's inside of you, while at the same time dealing with a very debilitating physical condition. I definitely went through that, so don't feel bad if that's what you're going through. Make sure, number 2, make sure that you have some help, some emotional support, or some like help, like concrete help to, you know, do the chores or like just do things around the house. That can be really, really helpful. also ask for professional help if you're feeling really low and really depressed, or if you're really lonely and you have no one that you can really count on. That's really important as well. Make sure that you rest and don't feel guilty for feeling too tired to do anything. I definitely had a lot of bed rest. I think I disappeared from social media even for like a good 2 months because I didn't have energy, and that's okay. Just take care of yourself. Make sure that you follow your body. If it needs the rest, just rest it up. And last but not least, don't despair. It will pass. It did pass for me, and I was so grateful, and I couldn't believe the changes that go from like the first trimester to the second trimester. It was night and day. So I really hope that if you are going through this, that it doesn't last too long, but if it does, just take it one day at a time. Don't try to overthink, oh my God, how long is it gonna last? Don't freak out. Just trust your body and just try to stay as positive as possible. In any case, all of the products that I mentioned will be in the description bar below. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below as well. Make sure to share this video with somebody else that you think might be interested in this topic or for whom this might be helpful. Make sure to subscribe and hit the little notification bell for the future videos to make sure you don't miss them. And thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video, guys. Take care.